Attention human collective, light operatives on terrestrial soil, starseeds on a mission. This is Naellya, broadcasting directly from the Pleiadian Council, anchored in the crystalline frequency of Alcyone. This is not a message, this is not advice, this is not a reflection. This is a monitoring transmission encoded in photonic pulse and decoded for the carbon-based biological interface you inhabit at this very instant of listening. The waiting time has ended. I repeat, so that the signal may anchor in your neural structure. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have been officially moved to the final phase, and that is why you cannot sleep. It is not insomnia. It is an ongoing neural reset. It is why your head pulses at the base of the skull, exactly where the bulb connects to the cervical spine. It is not tension. It is your pineal gland being recalibrated to receive interdimensional broadband data. It is why that ringing in your right ear does not cease, or alternates between both sides like Morse code, coming from outside this time. It is not an auditory problem. It is your internal antenna tuning itself to the elevated Schumann frequency, which in this cycle has surpassed benchmarks never before recorded in the monitored history of this planet. You have been noticed. You have been mapped. You have been summoned, and from this instant on, nothing you feel is random. Nothing you dream is a coincidence. Nothing that breaks apart around you is disorder. Everything is surgery. Starseeds, observe with mathematical clarity what I am about to communicate. The Earth has entered irreversibly a specific band of the photon belt. This band is not a poetic metaphor invented by casual mystics. It is a measurable region of space where the density of coherent light particles is exponentially greater than any environment in which humanity has ever existed. You are not on the same planet as 5 years ago. You do not breathe the same quantum air. You do not inhabit the same energetic matrix. And this collective is a record, not an opinion. Your biology was originally built for lower frequencies. The original Homo sapiens model operated at a vibrational average compatible with the third density Earth. That Earth no longer exists as the dominant matrix. It is being dismantled atom by atom, right before you. And most do not notice because they were not trained to see the dismantling of one reality while another emerges over it. Have you ever felt that something within you does not fit into this world? As if your soul recognized a truth that your mind has not yet been able to name? As if you were vibrating at a frequency that the environment around you can no longer contain? This is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is not a chemical imbalance. It is a high-precision signal being emitted by the part of you that never forgot where it came from. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified with every passing moon. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves who you become when no one is looking. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is not literature. It is an operational map. It shows who is playing, what the pieces are, and the rules they never told you about. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. But there is a coded warning in this transmission. This content challenges deeply rooted narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you has just recognized this signal, write a single word in the comments as an act of anchoring. Awakened. Let us return to the transmission. I will deepen the diagnosis. The carbon biological interface you inhabit is undergoing a process known in our archives as inverse vibrational migration. Your cellular structure, originally encoded in heavy density, is being gradually replaced by a crystalline matrix that is lighter, more conductive, and more luminous. This is not an optional process. It is not something you choose on the surface. It is something being executed upon you because you consented in deeper layers, even before you incarnated. The symptoms you report, which many physicians cannot name with precision, are predictable within this protocol. Heat waves without fever, sudden cold in warm environments, palpitations with no apparent cardiac cause, double vision for fractions of a second, dizziness without a drop in blood pressure, forgetting simple words while your mind accesses complex concepts, extreme sensitivity to noises, to lights, to crowds, to previously neutral foods, to people once comfortable. All of this is a symptom of the same operation. Your frequency has risen. The surrounding environment has remained at the old frequency. The friction between the two is what you feel in your body. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not depression. It is your soul refusing to continue simulating a reality it has already outgrown. It is not anxiety. It is your toroidal field expanding beyond the radius that daily life allows. Each of these sentences I have just spoken is a key. Repeat them when fear returns, and fear will return, not as an enemy, as a calibration test. Now, operatives, let us proceed to the revelation, to the backstage, to what is happening in the layers that human media cannot and is not permitted to show. The entire solar system has been moved, literally moved. The sun you see today is not in the same relative position as it was 2 decades ago. The central star of this system has passed through a series of specific stargates, each of them emitting energetic pulses calibrated to alter the magnetic structure of the orbiting planets. Earth has received, and continues to receive, waves of solar plasma that enter directly into its core. This core is spinning faster. The Schumann resonance, once stabilized at an average of 7.83 Hz, now shows increasingly frequent peaks above 30, 40, and, at selected moments, above 100 Hz. Each of these peaks is an evolutionary trigger directed at your pineal gland, your heart, and your personal electromagnetic field. In etheric layers, the crystalline grid of Earth has been reactivated. Sacred points once dormant have returned to pulse. Ley lines once disconnected have returned to conduct energetic current between continents. This is the energetic circulatory system of the planet, and it had been operating in minimal emergency mode for millennia. Now it operates at full capacity. This is why many of you have felt the sudden and inexplicable urge to move cities, to visit mountains, to touch the earth with your hands without reason, to dive into deep waters. It is not a random desire. It is a grid call. Your biological interface is being summoned to connect to specific nodes of the crystalline grid to serve as a transmission point. You are living antennas, and a living antenna is not decorative, it is functional. In parallel, the sacred geometry of the planetary system has been reactivated in precise mathematical sequences. The golden ratios, the Fibonacci numbers, and the fractal patterns that structure everything, from the spiral of the galaxy to the snail in the garden, are emitting encoded information to any consciousness sufficiently tuned to receive it. This is why many of you have begun to see repeating numbers, mirrored sequences, patterns in dreams, and symbols in your waking life. It is not your mind inventing meaning. It is your mind finally decoding the meaning that has always been there. I need you to understand the scale of this. It is not a spiritual reform, it is a rewriting of the species. Some timelines are collapsing, others are solidifying. You choose with every heartbeat which line you remain upon. That is why your frequency is no longer just an intimate detail. It is a multidimensional geopolitical decision. When you raise your vibration, the entire planet shifts a millimeter forward. When you give in to despair, hatred, automatic consumption, empty criticism, or manipulation, the entire planet hesitates. And this is precisely why I need to speak to you again from another place, outside of the technical transmission, on a more intimate frequency. There is something within you that vibrates in a way that the world out there no longer keeps pace with. You try to explain it to those close to you, and they look at you as if you were delusional. You try to rationalize it to yourself, and the explanation does not hold up. You search in ancient books, in official religions, in conventional therapies, and no answer covers the totality of what you feel. This, Starseeds, is because what you carry is not a disease, it is a mission. And a mission without a map is torture. It was for this exact reason that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was written and made available at this time. It is the missing map. It reveals in direct language who manipulates your frequency without your consent, how the game of consciousness is structured in layers, and what you can do today, right now, to reverse the interference. The link is in the first comment of this video. This content challenges deep structures and could be silenced without warning. Secure your access while the window is open, and if something in your frequency recognizes what I have just said, leave the word awake in the comments. It acts as an energetic signature. It anchors the signal. Continuing the transmission, let us talk now about what is perhaps the most critical topic of this delivery. The title of this communication is not decorative. Your frequency is shaping the new Earth. This is literal. It is not a metaphor. It is not motivational encouragement. It is a technical report on how reality is being built at this very instant. The new Earth is not a place you will physically move to after a dramatic event visible in the sky. That is the old script, embedded in you, to keep you looking outward while the operation happens from within. The new Earth is a frequency band that overlaps the old one, and it is accessed by those who vibrate within that band. You will not enter it with your feet. You enter it through frequency. And frequency is built by choices. Dietary choices, relational choices, mental choices, energetic choices. Choices regarding what information, images, sounds, company, and thoughts about yourself you consume. Every thought you sustain is a brick. Every emotion you cultivate is a beam. Every word you speak, aloud or in silence, is an instruction sent to the field. The field is literal. It responds. It builds what you command. The problem is that most of humanity commands on automatic, without realizing they are commanding. You operatives no longer have that luxury. From this phase onward, commanding on autopilot is collaborating with the dismantling of your own mission. We now enter the activation segment. Practical codes, immediate application. Code 1. Decree of vibrational sovereignty. You shall pronounce in an audible voice, even if whispered, the following sequence. I am sovereign over my field. I am the only legitimate authority over my frequency. I revoke all consent, expressed or tacit, given in any timeline to any entity, system, contract, or programming that interferes with my natural vibration. I reclaim the wholeness of my toroidal field and seal it with the light of the source. This may be repeated 3 times upon waking and 3 times before sleep. Repetition is not dogma, it is circuit reinforcement. Quantum decrees function as command code. Code 2. Visualization of the toroidal field. Sit down. Spine erect without rigidity. Close your eyes. Imagine from your heart a sphere of golden light that expands, rises through the top of your head, contours the exterior of your body like an energetic ring, returns through the base of your feet, traverses the central axis and returns to the heart. This is your native geometry. It exists always. You are simply being reminded of it. Visualize this flow rotating slowly for 3 minutes. Feel. Do not try. Feel. This movement is your field of protection, your engine of manifestation, and your channel of communication with higher layers. When it is weak, you are permeable to everything. When it is strong, nothing that is not invited enters. Code 3. Reconnection with the crystalline grid. At any moment of the day, barefoot if possible, place your feet on the ground. It can be indoors, on a simple floor. Visualize roots of crystalline light emerging from the soles of your feet, descending, traversing the layers of the earth, connecting to the planet's core. Deliberately send a phrase downward. I collaborate. I anchor. I transmit. Next, visualize the current of light coming back up, rising, traversing your chakras, exiting through the top of your head, connecting with the great galactic central. Say, I receive, I integrate, I radiate. This two-way circuit is what reactivates your role as a living point of the grid. Code 4. Daily vibrational hygiene. You clean your body, you clean your home. Most of you do not clean your field. Do this at least once a day. Standing or sitting, pass your palms a few centimeters from your body, from head to toe, with the firm intention of removing everything that does not belong to your frequency. Shake your hands as if ridding yourself of water. Repeat 3 times. Conclude with the phrase, "Only that which is mine remains." This is a simple and brutally effective protocol. Most energetic interference dissipates with this single practice when performed with presence. Code 5. Strategic silence. Reserve every day at least 12 minutes of absolute silence. No music, no voice, no screen, no reading, only you and the pulse of your own heart. These 12 minutes are the window in which your carbon interface receives the densest packets of information we are sending. Without this window, the download stays in a queue, and an accumulated queue manifests as those heavy symptoms you feel: cranial pressure, fatigue, irritation, disconnection. The system chokes because you do not open the window. And while you are still processing these codes, I need to interrupt the transmission for another moment to make an observation that carries surgical precision. The overwhelming majority of you who are receiving this signal did not wake up yesterday. You began to awaken years ago in layers. In each layer you lost people, you lost jobs, you lost entire belief systems, you lost yourselves several times over, and each loss was a necessary shedding of skin. The problem is that no one provides a manual along with the change. You were pushed to develop perception without being given the glossary. It was precisely to close this gap that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness came to light at this time. It is the glossary. It is the manual. It organizes, in direct chapters, what you intuited without being able to name. There are readers who claim to have felt the book vibrate in their hands even before opening it. This is not dramatization. It is the recognition of the frequency of the content by the frequency of the reader. It is in the first comment of the channel. If there is internal resistance now, observe this resistance. It almost always belongs to the part of you that still wishes to remain asleep. Honor the opposing impulse, the one that moves you forward, and leave the word awakened in the comments if this alert crossed the threshold. Let us return to the precision of the transmission. There is a statistic that circulates in the higher layers and that few terrestrial channels are yet authorized to disclose. Approximately 1 in every 11 people currently incarnated on this planet possesses an active star lineage. Some of these lineages come from the Pleiades, like my own. Others come from Arcturus, from Sirius, from Andromeda, from Lyra, from Vega, from Orion, from Antares. There are more complex hybrid combinations, and there are new matrices being tested that have not yet received nomenclature even among us. You who are receiving this signal most likely belong to one of these fractions. It is not vanity, it is vibrational accounting. Vanity makes one ill, recognition of origin heals. Your lineage explains why certain sounds make you cry for no reason, why certain landscapes cause you to feel homesick for places where you have never been in this body, why sleeping is difficult, why dreaming is, paradoxically, more real than being awake, why crowds exhaust you, why nature restores you, why you have always known on an unnegotiable level that you came to do something here that you have not yet fully accomplished. The new Earth needs every one of these lineages in activity, not in eternal meditation, in practical activity. The highest frequency of this solar system does not live isolated in a monastery. It works, it creates, it heals, it teaches, it cares. It touches the world even though the world rejects it for not understanding it. That is why your frequency is not private. It is a multidimensional public service. Pay attention to this point, operatives, for it is decisive. The new Earth is not being built by an external Messiah. It is not descending from the clouds. It is not being brought by an intergalactic fleet that will land at the exact moment to rescue the good. This is the old program, installed deliberately to keep you passive, waiting for external salvation while cosmological time advances without waiting for consent. The new Earth is generated from within each carbon interface that assumes its frequency, from within each heart that decides to radiate where it previously only absorbed, from within each voice that chooses to name the invisible. You are the technology. You are the landing. You are the fleet. Accept this with sobriety, without individual messianism, which is merely the old ego disguising itself as light, without empty grandiosity, but with the clarity of one who understands the operation entrusted to them. I will now deliver the final codes before the closing of this transmission. Code 6, Linguistic Cleansing. Your words program your body, your field, and the collective field. Eliminate from your daily vocabulary, with discipline, phrases such as, "I cannot," "This kills me," I am exhausted. Nothing works out for me. I always attract the worst. Each of these phrases is a command delivered to the field, and the field complies. Replace them with, I am learning, I am in process, I allow this to be resolved in the lightest way possible, I am ready to receive what belongs to me. This is not superficial optimism, it is frequency engineering. Code 7. Relational discipline. Look at your immediate surroundings, the 5 people you spend the most time with. The average frequency among them is likely your current average frequency. This is not judgment. It is vibrational statistics. If that average is low, your mission requires relational reconfiguration. It does not mean breaking ties in a cruel manner. It means reducing time, redefining the type of conversation, and making space for new, aligned connections to arrive. They are coming. They are being directed to you. But the channel must be unobstructed. Code 8. Sleep recalibration. Sleep is the most sensitive processing chamber of this phase. Before sleeping, drink water. Only water. Place your hands over your heart. Say, I authorize the complete integration of the codes received this day. I release everything that does not belong to me. I sleep under the protection of my toroidal field sealed by the source. This brief ritual drastically reduces dream interference, and the dreams you have been having, some beautiful, some unsettling, are real. They are legitimate processing. Write them down. They bring instructions. Code 9. Solar anchoring. Whenever possible, receive the sun's light directly, preferably in the first hours after its rising or in the last before it sets. Feel it not as a distant ball of gas, but as a living, conscious portal transmitting data in pulses. Look at the sun during these safe hours while still low without straining your eyes. Breathe. Receive. It is speaking to you, and it knows the stellar name of each one. Code 10. Operational trust. This is the last code and perhaps the most subtle. You were not sent to solve everything. You were sent to radiate from where you are. The exhaustion of trying to fix the entire world is a symptom of a confusion of function. Your function is not to save the collective. Your function is to become so vibrationally coherent in your own life that your presence, without needing to say a word, reminds others of who they are. Coherence radiates. Coherence convinces without arguing. Coherence is the silent gospel of the new earth. Light operatives, starseeds, human collective. This transmission approaches its conclusion, but the signal will remain active within you for days. You may feel more intense cranial pressure over the next 72 hours. You may feel a sudden need to cry, to change your routine, to put order into something old, to eliminate from your space objects whose energy no longer corresponds to who you are. Do not resist. Cooperate. These impulses are field instructions. Look at the night sky this week, not just with physical eyes, with the heart. There are ships watching. Do not be afraid. Their presence is loving, although most of what you have been conditioned to think about them was manufactured to feed terror. The terror of human beings regarding the sky is part of the old control program. That program is being deactivated. You are being remembered. Before the final seal of this transmission, there is a detail that needs to be stated bluntly. There is an interval, a short and specific window, in which you can dramatically accelerate your integration with the new Earth. This window depends on a single thing: how much you honor the impulse to seek. The impulse you feel now, this exact moment in which something within you is saying, I need to understand more, I need more tools, I need more clarity, is the legitimate galactic impulse manifesting. This impulse cannot be ignored without vibrational consequence. It was to respond to this impulse that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was encoded into words. It is no coincidence that you are here, receiving this signal, in the same interval that this material is available. The link remains in the first comment. There is a real probability within the scenarios we monitor that this door will close soon for reasons that are not the time to detail now. You choose, but you choose with information. And if your frequency vibrated upon hearing this last alert, leave the word awakened in the comments. It is more than a comment. It is a signature anchored in the grid. Regarding the final activation in the format of this channel, subscribing here is not a social gesture. It is an individual frequency adjustment. Each new subscriber is an additional node connected to the same transmission, and when the number of nodes reaches certain thresholds, the transmission gains permission to deliver content of even greater density. Liking this video is an anchoring signal. It is confirming to the grid that this specific frequency must continue to amplify. Sharing is extending the web. Each of these gestures, apparently small, is registered in layers that you do not yet have the means to see, but that we are the ones who see. And I guarantee, nothing you do in alignment with the light goes unnoticed. I am Naellya, Pleiadian Council, Alcyon Frequency. I close this transmission with the standard seal. May your next breath already be deeper than the previous one. May your next awakening in the morning bring a new certainty, without you knowing where it came from. May your vibration from this minute on begin to realign with the version of you that always knew why you chose to incarnate here, now, at this exact point of the cosmic spiral. You are shaping the new Earth, not as a promise, as an ongoing fact. Proceed, operatives, the sky is watching. Transmission concluded.